Welcome back, everybody, to another bonus episode of Keystone Film Review, the podcast. I am one of your hosts, Miguel Magusto. As always, with me is Glenjamin Bun. Glen, how are you? Hello. And we are here to talk about the best of the decade. We are leaving the 20 teens in a matter of, as of this recording, was that 2 days, 3 days, something like that? It is the 29th right now. Yep. We'll be releasing this tomorrow, the 30th, so it's going to be even closer tomorrow. And we just wanted to discuss the best movies of the past 10 years, 2010 to 2019. So, yeah, let's do it. But we're going to start as numerically is what happens. What was that sense? We're going to start in numerical order with 2010.
Whoa. Glenn, is that you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not going to go through the top 10 for every year. That's going to be like a 3-hour-long
Yeah, I couldn't even do that on my Letterboxd list.
But the first one I wanted to discuss was Toy Story 3. Let's start off with a popular one. Toy Story 3 came out in 2010. Mm-hmm. I believe it was June 2010. And since then, we have had a Toy Story 4, which came out this year.
Which I still didn't see.
Which, 2010 doesn't feel that long ago. And now...
Here we are.
It didn't seem like Toy Story 4 took that long to come out, and it's been nine, almost 10 years. Yeah. And I take it you've seen Toy Story 3, right?
I haven't seen Toy Story 3 since it came out, but yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of very upset. Not very upset, just slightly peeved when I found out they were making Toy Story 4, because Toy Story 3 was just a perfect ending to the entire... series, and then my predictions were correct in that Toy Story 4 undid any emotion that Toy Story 3 created.
Absolutely.
Because you saw Toy Story 4, right?
I did not.
Oh, you did not? Well, anyway, so you know how there's this big build-up to Andy giving his toys to Bonnie in Toy Story 3.
Yeah, I didn't watch 4 because I thought it was too perfect of an ending that I didn't need to see anything else after that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even going to consider Toy Story 4 one of them because it's so stupid.
Yeah.
It's pointless. To its defense, it tries something new, but it doesn't really work for me.
Yeah.
But I still really enjoyed Toy Story 3. I think it's obvious that Toy Story 4 is probably not going to be in my top even 20 for 2019.
Yeah.
But Toy Story 3 was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, and absolutely, it is for me too. Making these lists was very difficult. It's definitely in my top 10 of 2010.
Yeah,
but
I made these lists like a year ago, kind of just going through them, and it was difficult then to make these lists. But yeah, Toy Story 3 is just a phenomenal
for me,
film.
The big one in 2010 was Inception.
Yeah, that's a really good one. We actually, you and I just rewatched
Literally
that recently
just
together.
Watched it a month ago.
Yeah, and
it was the sexiest time of our life.
Honestly, I was worried that it wasn't going to hold up to what I thought in 2010 when it came out. But it really did. It was still really good. It was probably the only time I didn't watch it on IMAX, and it was still a phenomenal movie.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and my friends enjoyed this movie so much that for a school project, for some reason, we had to make FDR believe that he created the New Deal or something. Like, we had to plant it in his brain.
Well,
so we made a whole video out of us planting the New Deal into his brain, Inception style. So
that's funny.
We thoroughly enjoyed it back in 2010. To an extent.
Just a little bit. But yeah, that was a good one. If we're honest, this is probably just going to be us listing off good movies. Hopefully you've seen some of these and agree with us.
Yeah.
But we don't have too much to say. All of these movies you should just check out. This is just us kind of reminiscing on the past 10 years. For my next one, we're going to talk about my first South Korean movie of the decade, and that is I Saw the Devil. Have you seen that, Glenn? I don't know.
I actually have not seen that.
Okay, yeah, it's really, really good. It's directed by Kim Ji-woon. I don't know if I know any of his other stuff. He did The Good, the Bad, and the Weird, Tale of Two Sisters. He's done a lot of movies that have come over from South Korea to us, but it's essentially just about like a serial killer and a detective like kind of hunting him down.
Huh.
But it is, as most South Korean movies, stylized in a very interesting and cool way. And I think it's one that often gets overlooked, next to like Old Boy or Train to Busan. Some of the more popular ones, The Wailing, even for me, it gets overlooked by The Wailing, but it is one of the best movies of the past 10 years and definitely warrants a recommendation.
Okay, well, consider it recommended into my brain, because I'll have to look at it.
Yeah. What's your next one for 2010?
2010, Tucker and Dale versus Evil actually came out in 2010.
Yeah, that was going to be my final one, so we might as well let's keep it to 2 a year.
Okay.
Two each a year, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, one of the funniest movies ever. Even after 10 years, it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It was one of those movies that was always recommended to me by Netflix's algorithm.
Yeah.
But
it's really
poster,
hard. Yeah.
The poster does not do it justice because it looks like a trashy horror movie, which in a way it is, but it's making fun of the trashy horror movies.
It's a basically kind of parody movie.
Yeah.
That just nails it how a parody movie should be.
Definitely.
In every single way. I think I was the same. I don't remember who saw it first, me or you. I think we saw it at the same time. I don't remember. But
I watched it before I knew you. So.
Okay, so I remember definitely watching it, and then I brought it up to you, and you're like, yeah, that movie is hilarious.
It is. I could quote it for days, but it is really good. But yeah, I just can't recommend that movie enough. Don't have anything else to say about it. Trying to make this as quick as possible, so it does not just us rambling.
I think we'd be doing 2010 an injustice if we didn't at least mention Scott Pilgrim versus
the World. Yeah, that's a great one. Edgar Wright directing it. Michael Cera. That's another really great stylized comedy. Which, I really enjoyed it. But I agree with you. But alas, we must move on to keep things moving swimmingly. I'm going to start 2011 off by mentioning a movie that would have come out probably, I think, 2009, but they weren't confident in it until Chris Hemsworth became famous, and that is The Cabin in the Woods.
Yep.
That's one of those movies that like I don't understand why they didn't have faith in that movie. I understand they probably wouldn't have made as much money if they released it before Chris Hemsworth was famous.
In fact, it didn't. To me, it wouldn't have mattered because it's not even like I guess it's 2011. Like it matters that long for him.
Yeah, but that is just a really, really hilarious another comedy horror movie.
Yep.
Which, kind of looking back, that might be my favorite genre is comedy horror. It
just works off of both elements.
It really does. I honestly went in thinking it was going to be a horror movie, and they do a really good job at in the first 5 minutes being like, no, this is a comedy.
Yeah.
So even if you go in expecting a horror, you can change your expectations like that. But yeah, that's Cabin in the Woods.
All right. Well, I love that movie. It's a fantastic movie. But for me, the big pick for me, 2011, is going to be Warrior.
Yeah. I actually saw that the same day as Cabin in the Woods. I did a little double feature.
Look at you.
So yeah, well, fun fact, I was living in Florida at the time.
Joel Edgerton, Tom Hardy, fighting each other with their fists and brotherly love. And oh my God, do I love that movie so much.
It was a great movie. I was not impressed with the trailers of it, kind of just, I'm not a big fighting movie kind of person.
Yeah.
Like, I like Rocky and stuff because, we're from the Philadelphia area. We're kind of contractually obligated to like Rocky if we live in the area.
Yeah,
At least sometimes it feels like it.
Kind of comes with the blood,
Yeah. But it's fighting movies just aren't my thing. I feel like all boxing movies more or less are the exact same thing. UFC fighting, mixed martial arts fighting is not that different. I mean, it's obviously different from boxing. But
I think
at the end of the day, it's still people kicking each other's asses.
Yeah, I think what made this movie better was its story with the two family members fighting for what they needed.
Yeah, and it definitely had the benefit of having a great cast. You got, like you said, Joel Edgerton, Tom Hardy, Nick Nolte as the father. I forget who plays their coach. His name's Frank something.
Frank Grillo.
Frank Grillo. Yeah, he's great. It's just a great cast, and definitely one that surprised me. And I'm glad that you brought it up because I forgot of that movie. I didn't forget it, but
you're welcome. You forgot
I own it on Blu-ray. A big movie for me in 2011. Michael Shannon's my favorite actor, and I was really hyped about this movie for a very long time. Take Shelter. I'm sure there's a lot of you that haven't seen it. It's kind of a smaller movie, but it's essentially a movie about a man with he hasn't been diagnosed with schizophrenia, but schizophrenia runs in his family, and he's paranoid that like this huge apocalyptic storm is going to come and his family's not going to be prepared. So it's him preparing for it at the cost of his friends and family, and it's a fantastic movie. And I don't want to get too much into it because it'll ruin it, but I highly suggest if you haven't seen it to see Take Shelter.
Yeah, I didn't even hear about it until you recommended it to me during our big year of getting to know each other at Regal.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was a fantastic movie.
Yeah,
Michael Shannon is a monster and a lovable human being.
One of the first movies that I really started to follow Jessica Chastain's career afterwards, and also Shea Wiggum, who you would probably recognize from Joker, plays one of the detectives. Yeah. The detective that is not played by Bill Camp. But it's got a great cast and shines some light onto a lot of unknown actors at the time to me. So, good movie.
Good movie.
And I didn't pick one movie to talk about because I figured you would bring it up. So I'm going to let you take it here.
I wonder if it's going to be the one.
Probably.
Is it The Raid?
Oh, no. That did not go how I thought it was going to be. But
all right.
Let's talk about The Raid.
Which one did you think I was going to mention?
The one that...
That's fine. So The Raid. Directed by Gareth Evans. We did this movie for RKF, our shelf boy. It made it, I believe. Yeah. So we've done this before. We've talked about it. If you haven't seen that, I'd just recommend going and seeing that because we'll talk the hell out of it. It's a great movie, the best fight scenes in the world. Absolutely. And it's like Judge Dredd.
Judge Dredd. Well, Judge Dredd's more
Judge Dredd's the other way around because it came afterwards.
Yeah, but it's a really good movie.
But they're both fantastic.
The movie I thought you were going to say, and I'm honestly shocked that you didn't, and you should be ashamed of yourself, is Drive.
Yeah, I haven't seen Drive since it came out to...
I thought you were obsessed with that. I might be confusing you with another...
I was back... I've lost a lot of memory, but I had a shirt, and it was the most killer shirt in the world. I wanted the jacket for so long. But yeah, Drive's a fantastic movie. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were... That's why I thought you were going to be talking about it, because I'll let you have that one.
Ryan Gosling, man.
Ryan Gosling, it's the only Nicholas Winding Refn. What's his name?
Excuse me?
His name is... The director's name is Nicholas Winding Refn. He's I believe he's Danish director. But it's the only movie of his that I am comfortable with suggesting to anyone. It's the only movie of his that I love. I like some of his movies, but I love Drive. He's a little too obscure for me sometimes, but Drive I think is coherent enough where
it's funny because Drive is in my life so hard that we actually were a part of a project that was very heavily inspired by Drive.
Yes, we were.
Yes, we were.
But that does it for 2011. Let's move on to 2012. Glenn, let's change things up, and you go first.
Me? Little old me?
Little old you.
Okay, well, I'm going to hit another one that we've done a KFR Shelf Boy on, and it did make the shelf. The Hunt with Mads Mikkelsen, directed by, Thomas Vinterberg. And, that movie's so sad.
It is very sad. If you haven't heard that podcast episode yet, check it out. We kind of go into it more, but it is a great film.
Great film, touches your heart.
It's
and children.
I think it's one of the only few foreign movies that is my number one movie of the year that it came out.
Yeah,
because it is just that good. It is really good.
Yeah, it really is the top of its game on that chart for 2012.
My first one I'm going to talk about is a film that I feel like doesn't get enough love. It's called The Beast of the Southern Wild. It is directed by Ben Zeitlin. And have you seen it, Glenn?
I have not.
Okay, it's essentially about this 6-year-old girl living in the bayous, or I don't know if it's a bayou or if it's like islands off of Louisiana, but during Hurricane Katrina. And the director is actually doing his next film is a kind of Lord of the Flies meets Peter Pan combination called Wendy, and he does these great films that are about like kids, and they're in situations that are kind of terrible but kind of makes them hopeful, and like shows the beauty of the world through the eyes of the child in this terrible situation.
Yeah.
And it's honestly a fantastic film. I did not like it the first time I watched it. I don't know if I was in a bad mood or whatever, but the second time I watched it, I thought I was a fool for not liking it the first time and absolutely loved it. So Beast of the Southern Wild, I highly suggest to anyone who hasn't seen it.
So me.
Yeah.
I got it. This one's kind of hard. Not because, in my opinion, this 2012 is a little bit lackluster as many of these other years go. I would agree with that. I might get punched, but a movie that I was very, very into 2012 was Les Mis.
Les Mis. I'm actually surprised. Not because I didn't take you for someone who liked musicals, like even a little bit.
Yeah.
So Les Mis is a great movie.
Yeah, it's a very, very powerful movie. Like I like the one with Liam Neeson. That had been the only other Les Mis that I had seen. Is that a musical version, or? I don't think it is.
Okay.
It's more of just a drama. But this one has Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe, Anne Hathaway, Amanda Seyfried, and the list can keep going on and on.
Yeah.
But it's a very strong movie, and I think I almost cry every time I see or listen to Anne Hathaway's part where she's slowly disintegrating.
Yeah. I think is it Dream to Dream, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Great.
But yeah, it's a very powerful movie. And
yeah.
I really enjoy it, and I recommend it if you haven't seen it. My mom hated it. She almost disowned me.
Well, your mom's wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mama.
My family has a terrible taste in movies, so.
Yeah, it kind of seems like that.
Yeah. She's like, wait, that was 3 hours? We're only halfway through it? I need a break. I need to go smoke a cigarette, okay? It's like, okay, Ma.
A movie that was nominated for Best Picture in 2012, or 2013, technically.
I think Anne Hathaway won Best Actress.
She did, yes. My next movie is another film that was nominated for Best Picture. At first, it wasn't my favorite of the bunch. My favorite of the bunch, I'm just going to name drop real quick, Argo. I still think that's a great movie, but Life of Pi has grown on me significantly since first seeing it. It's based on the novel of the same name, and it's about this teenage boy from India who's traveling to, I believe his family's moving to Canada, North America, either way, and the ship that they're on starts to sink. He has to go into a lifeboat, and on the lifeboat is a tiger that he names Richard Parker. And it is just such a beautiful and heartbreaking movie. and it, like, honestly, my friend Alan and I, we went to see the Best Picture nominations that year in a 24-hour marathon, and after that movie, we just constantly quoted to each other, and it's just a beautiful movie, and I highly suggest if you haven't seen it. Have you seen it?
I have seen it.
Yeah,
it's one of those where I haven't seen it since it came out, but it is stunning visuals.
Yeah,
very
Irfan
sad
Khan
story.
plays the adult version of Pi. And he is one of my favorite actors. I feel like he doesn't get cast enough, mainly because he's an Indian actor, so I think he mainly works on like Bollywood movies, but he is a fantastic actor, and anytime he's in an English speaking film, he just kind of steals the scene for me. I mean, Jurassic World, he steals the scene. Life of Pi, he steals the scene. He's just a great actor, and he's fantastic in this too. He kind of narrates the main story, and it's fantastic.
Then just pops up at the end.
Yeah. Well, he pops up every now and then.
And does he?
Yeah. He kind of comes up every now and then, but yeah, it's great. But that does it for 2012. Let's move on to 2013. Glenn, we might as well keep going with you.
Might as well keep it rolling. This is a tough year. This was a good one for me.
Yeah, this was a really good year. I'm looking at it now.
And in fact, I know making a top 10 for this is going to be a pain in the ass because I have 20 on this list now. So the big one for me, I think, is going to be, and I've done a Glen's Day on this. Well, actually, I've done a Glen's Day on both the ones I'm picking. But The Secret Life of Walter Mitty is going to be the first one. Starring and directed by Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
You got Kristen Wiig, Patton Oswalt. There's a bunch of people in this movie. It's such a fantastic movie, very inspirational.
That's a movie I feel like gets a bad rap. When it came out, it was kind of not torn apart by the critics, but it didn't get as much recognition as I feel it did.
My first viewing, I liked it. Like I liked it a lot. And then when I watched it at home again, it was just like, this movie is so good.
Yeah. And the scene where Ben Stiller and Sean Penn share the scene together is electric. Like, it is just phenomenal. You think of Ben Stiller, rightfully so, as this comedian actor who only really does funny roles, but he has such a way of changing on a dime from comedy to drama that I feel like of his...
And comedic actors are so good at that for no reason, just being able to switch on.
A lot of comedians are depressed, which is the main reason. But he goes toe to toe with Sean Penn, who's arguably one of the greatest actors of his generation.
Yeah,
and just completely blew me away in that scene. But yeah, I agree that's a great movie.
Yeah, it's fantastic, inspirational, and just fun movie altogether. Very imaginative, and that is my pick for 2013.
The first movie I'm going to talk about here, 12 Years a Slave. I was kind of between two movies. Depending on what your next movie is, I might pick another movie.
So you might be able to know what my next movie is going to be.
We'll find out. I thought I was going to be right with Drive, but I wasn't. So 12 Years a Slave, directed by Steve McQueen, the director, not the actor. Obviously, the actor's dead. But
not
it's
for long. He's going to make a movie here soon.
Oh, apparently, yeah. It's starring Chiwetel Ejiofor. I butchered that name. I apologize.
I say Chiwetel, but
Chiwetel. That's probably it. Michael Fassbender. The first real instance that people got to see Lupita Nyong'o. She won the Oscar for her portrayal. Benedict Cumberbatch, Paul Dano, Sarah Paulson. Just a huge cast. And quite honestly, one of the most brutally... Granted, we didn't grow up during slave times, so I'm only speculating here. But other slave movies, I feel, for lack of a better word, kind of whitewash slavery in this way, where it's like, oh, these people who were like down in the dumps found hope as slaves and stuff like that. But this does not do that at all. No. It shows it in my mind the most realistic way possible, to the point where it's uncomfortable, but in a powerful way, not in like it's not a
in a
movie that
whitewashed
you
way.
want to watch all the time, but it is still a fantastic
Still
movie.
good enough that you'd want to watch it again.
Yeah, and it doesn't end with this hopeful message. It ends with, you know, I'm trying to not spoil it too much, but he's lost and hopeless, and then things happen. But I'm not going to get into that. But it starts on a high note and then goes downward spiral, where
Yeah.
I feel most whitewashed slave movies go the other way. So it's a fantastic movie, and won Best Picture that year, and I fully acknowledge that it deserves that recognition of 2013.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh man, this year's so tough. There's so many good ones. Like we could talk about Prisoners. We could talk about Snowpiercer. We could talk about World's End. We could talk about Fruitvale Station, Enemy, which I know you don't like. But for me, it's gonna be talked about Time.
About Time.
About
Yes.
Time with let's see, we got Domhnall Gleeson in this bad boy. We got Rachel McAdams, Bill Nighy.
I will be so bold as to say it's probably the only rom-com that I love.
It's my favorite time travel movie. Period.
It's a great time travel movie, yeah. Which
And
is kind of
it's-
weird to say about, but
It's another one that doesn't seem to have the reviews that it probably should.
yeah.
But I think it's definitely my favorite rom-com ever.
Yeah.
If I ever I
Either
had
that
to,
or When Harry Met Sally, but I
yes,
tend to
and those two. Oh man, why'd you have to do that to me? I didn't even think about that.
I tend to lean more About Time, but
Yeah,
there's no denying that When Harry Met Sally is iconic.
yeah.
So
Oh man, that sucks. Now that's gonna be on my brain. Yeah, but this movie, if I have to like, oh, what do you want to do? You want to like chill at home? Yeah, sure. What do you want to watch? I want to watch a rom-com. Thank God, because I have the perfect choice, and I know your ass hasn't seen it. This is always that movie I pick.
yeah, it's a good movie. You already mentioned Snowpiercer, so I'm not going to get into too much into it. That's actually my favorite movie of 2013.
Called it.
Fantastic film, directed by is that Boon Jong-ho, I believe. But since you already mentioned it, I'm going to talk about The Kings of Summer. Have you seen Kings of Summer?
I thought that came out 2012.
Let's see. Nope, 2013. Directed by Jordan Vogt Roberts.
Oh wait, my dumbass was on 2014 already.
Yeah, and starring Nick Robinson, Gabriel Basso, Moises Arias, and Nick Offerman. It's about these three teenage boys who kind of run away from home, but not very far from home, and just build a house in the middle of the woods. And it is hilarious, and I feel
It's one that you had recommended to me, so it fits the fact that we're recommending if you haven't seen it.
yeah, it's great.
Watch
Everyone
it, 'cause
should see
it
it.
is a fantastic film. It was one of the ones, like, Mike recommended a shit ton of movies to me when we first met each
Oh
other.
yeah, he used to be a little Marvel fuckboy
A
until
little
Until-
Marvel fuckboy.
until he got to me, and not that there's anything wrong with liking Marvel, but I kind of ruined your taste. But some would argue that I made your taste better.
I think you made my taste better. It's all
Yeah.
good.
So
But yeah, this is one that was on the at least top 10 of the 160 or whatever he gave to me to watch. This was definitely top 10 on that list for me. So it's really good.
yeah.
It's a bada bing.
Let's move on to 2014. I'll start with 2014. God, this was a good year too.
This is
yeah.
I think my favorite year.
Honestly, I could mention all my top 10. I'm not going to for time's sake, but shit, man.
Yeah, this is a bad boy to touch.
So mainly because I feel most people have seen these movies. I'm not going to delve into them. These are not going to be the ones I want to talk about. I just want to mention Whiplash and Birdman. We can talk about it if that's one of the ones you wanted to pick. But I feel I would be remiss if I did not talk about Song of the Sea. It's an Irish animated film that kind of goes into the lore of Irish legends of the Selkies, which are women that can turn into seals, and seals that turn into women.
Naturally.
Whatever you naturally. But it is honestly one of the most beautiful animated films ever. Not just of that year, ever. And that was the year that I was convinced that people in the Academy who vote for like best animated films don't watch anything other than Disney movies, because Big Hero 6 beat out Song of the Sea.
Yeah.
Who the fuck has even seen Big Hero 6 since it was in theaters?
I haven't.
And Song of the Sea is just a beautiful, universal movie that I feel like everyone would love and appreciate. But they went with the most generic animated film of the year. So I'm convinced that the best animated films, especially because, I think all but like 3 years Disney has won. No one ever watches any movie that's not Disney that's animated.
Pretty much.
Which is bullshit, because Song of the Sea is great. But yeah, Song of the Sea. If you haven't seen it, see it and talk about how much better than Big Hero 6 it is. I'm just a little bit bitter, even though I have no stake in this argument at all. But
yeah, this is a very difficult one for me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like rip off this list like I just did the last one. So, this sucks, dude. I'm gonna say John Wick, I guess.
Oh, did that come out 2014?
Yep.
Yeah,
because that and Edge of Tomorrow came out basically the same time, and they were.
Edge of Tomorrow is a good one too.
John Wick blew up, rightfully so, but Edge of Tomorrow got swept under the rug, and
which is a shame, because that's
did
also
not
a really
deserve
good
that, because it's a really good movie.
Like, that was a movie that I was like, oh great, another Tom Cruise action movie. It's gonna be, but that one was legitimately compelling. Like
anybody who went to go see that movie came out of it and was like, holy shit, that was actually good.
That's how I went into both John Wick and Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
I went into both being like, oh, this is gonna be whatever, and then I was blown away by both of them.
Yeah, but I mean, fuck it, we'll talk about both of them right now. Both fantastic movies.
Yes.
Both action-packed, both greatly acted
yes.
By iconic actors, obviously, or chefs, whatever they are. Fantastic movies, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Just that's all I have to say.
I'm going to talk about probably Taika Waititi's first film that became mainstream, and that is What We Do in the Shadows. I've loved Taika Waititi ever since Boy. Boy was the first movie of his that I saw, and it's a great film. But What We Do in the Shadows is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. And again, comedy horror.
It's true.
So I'm kind of learning things about myself now. But it's for the few people that haven't seen it, it's a mockumentary style movie about these vampires who are roommates in Auckland, New Zealand.
In modern times.
And it is so funny.
Transylvanian times.
It is so good. It's got so many bad but great puns.
Yeah, it's a fantastically quotable movie.
Yeah, but yeah, What We Do in the Shadows. I feel like there's a few I want to mention after you go talk about your other one, so I want to kind of move this along. Yeah. So yeah, that's What We Do in the Shadows.
I mean, we could literally just name this whole list right now if we wanted to. I think the big one that I wanted to talk about was either Ex Machina, Whiplash, or Birdman, because all three of those were just like top of the line films for 2014.
Those are my top three of that year.
Yeah,
let's talk about Ex Machina, but before we do that, I would just want to mention Grand Budapest Hotel, Interstellar, Fury, Goodnight Mommy, which if you haven't seen, I highly suggest, and an Argentinian film called Wild Tales, which is fantastic. But yeah, let's talk about Ex Machina.
Ex Machina.
It's great.
Why are robots so sexy? Like, can the future just stop? Vikander. Yeah. Yeah, that movie blew my mind. The end is just groundbreaking in every way.
That's probably the first movie that I kind of realized A24 was a big deal. Like, A24 had obviously come out with stuff then, but when
that was the one where you seen their huevos, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. They're like, oh, okay, they actually got something to say here.
And its cast was only like 3 people. Obviously there was more, but like majorly it was
three main characters,
Oscar Isaac, Alicia Vikander, and Domhnall Gleeson. Just all in a little facility together, spending some time.
It's a great film, though.
It's so good.
Let's move on to another pretty decent year, if you ask me, 2015.
2015.
Obviously not as good as 2014, because that was ridiculous. Actually, now I'm looking at it, I might be second-guessing that. But, oh man, which one do I want to talk about, Glenn? If you have one you want to talk about, jump in.
This was a good year, because we actually went to go see the Oscar-nominated ones.
We should do that this year. You should go with me this year now that you're back in
That's fine. I'm down for that.
But
this was a good year for the ones that actually did make it onto the Oscar noms.
Yeah.
But I'm going to talk about my most underrated, in my opinion, of the year, more than just the best movie of the year, and that's going to be Man from U.N.C.L.E. for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I saw that. I got to rewatch that. I didn't care for it when I first saw it.
Like, it's just a fun movie. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's one you should really take seriously. But it's just a fun movie. Henry Cavill, Armie Hammer are fun together. Henry Cavill's just fun. Period. Just a tall, handsome, strapping Superman. You know what I'm saying? That movie's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the movie. In fact, I'm trying to watch it soon. Now that The Witcher is done with, that I finished it. That's a good fun old boy for me.
Yeah. Speaking of The Witcher, I want to talk about another A24 great, The Witch.
The Witch.
It is a small horror. Most people here have probably seen it. But it is a great horror film. Even though I would say it's more suspenseful than horror. There's not too many like scary things about it, but it's very unsettling throughout the entire thing.
Yeah,
because you don't really know what's happening. And it is I love that movie.
It is Yeah, that movie's great. So well acted from everybody in it. I don't know how they talk in the old English classic language as they did.
What went we down into the woods to find?
Let me talk in Shakespearean.
The land of God.
And it's themes of sin and all that are just you're right, Mike.
Sin and misogyny. Yeah. But there are so many. You can't see the face I'm going to make right now. This is mainly for the people watching on YouTube. But I made this face a lot. So it was very, very unsettling to make me make a cringe face.
I made a face on my side, so you could, or one of us could probably, or you're gonna probably edit it.
Yeah, we'll find out.
We'll see. But yeah, that movie's amazing. Definitely one of the top 10 for me as well.
What's your next one?
My next one, I think it's gonna have to be Mad Max. I think I know where yours is gonna be. There's a lot of good ones that year, like Room.
I do want to kind of list my top 10 after I talk about before I talk about my other one.
Yeah.
But Mad Max.
Mad Max,
one
the
of the
visually
few sequels
stunning.
that came way too late that was actually good.
Yeah.
To the point where it was actually nominated for Best Picture.
I think it came out at the perfect time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because the way this movie was made, the acted, everything about it, is just so perfect.
Yeah. The way it was filmed and edited is the way every action movie should be filmed and edited.
Practical. Everything was mostly everything was practical.
They use CGI the way that it should be used, and that is to enhance a scene and not just create a scene. Which I feel most films nowadays use CGI to create rather than enhance.
Yeah.
But yeah, they most notably would drive the vehicles and then just make it look like mountains were much closer than they were, or they were driving through a canyon or whatever.
Yeah.
But like the action that was happening was actually practical. But yeah, it's a great film.
It's a fantastic film, fun, just like, well, more than Man from U.N.C.L.E., but oh my god, watch it.
Okay, so I want to see what you think
I think I know what it is, but there's two that I'm eyeing up right now that could be.
Tell me what you think is going to be.
I think it's going to be me, Earl, and the Dying Girl.
Oh, you know me so well, Glenjamin Bunn.
Yes, I do.
But first, I just want to briefly mention Green Room, Blackcoat's Daughter.
That's the other one I was looking at.
Embrace of the Serpent, Beasts of No Nation, Anomalisa, The Lobster Room, and of course, me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. One of the few movies that, kind of chokes me up every time. And a lot of it has to do with me kind of connecting with the main character so much, who is the me in Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. He's this high school kid that loves film and old movies and likes making films, even though he doesn't really make anything that's 100% originally his.
Yeah, they're just for him.
I probably didn't back then either. There's probably just like rip-offs of a bunch of stuff. But it's just a fantastic film that I feel doesn't get enough love, and I want to give it that love. I want people to love it, Glenn.
Give it your love, Mike.
I'm going to give it my love.
Give it your love.
Whew, Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl. That's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
Let's move on to 2016. I'm just going to jump right in with The Wailing.
The Wailing.
This year was kind of like...
boy right there.
This year was the year of South Korean movies for me. I have 3 South Korean movies in my top 10.
Holy crap, I got one.
The Handmaiden, Train to Busan, and The Wailing. The Wailing you and I saw together, Glenn, and if I'm honest, like the first hour and a half, hour 45 minutes, is like, this is fine, but it's kind of slow moving. And then it just picks up steam in the last act and makes the entire slow burning first 2 acts completely worth it, to the point where like I talk about that movie probably more than most movies I talk about.
Well, that final act is amazing, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
As you should, though.
Yeah, it's directed by Na Hong Jin, who has directed other things such as Chaser, The Yellow Sea, and other things that don't have titles but pictures. But I've seen The Yellow Sea. It's fine, but the nothing compared to The Wailing.
Yeah, nothing compared to the masterpiece that is
The Wailing.
The Wailing.
Yeah.
This is kind of a tough year. I'm gonna say the one that I think you're gonna say next, and I apologize if it is Swiss Army Man.
Oh, you bastard!
It's obvious. It's the top bad boy on 2016 period.
Yeah, it's my number one.
Yeah. Everything else in comparison. Well, what comparison? What comparison are we speaking of?
Yeah, really.
Because there's a lot of movies in 2016 that I liked, but Swiss Army Man was the most fun, the most completely imaginative, and the most wacky.
Yeah, I think you and I were smiling the entire time.
And we even made a cute little short film. Not even a short film, like a short intro to it.
Little intro using the song Montage. Yeah, but it's a great film. My next one is one that I didn't appreciate, again, until the second time I watched it. Mainly because there was one scene that completely blew me away towards the end, and then it made me want to rewatch it. But the rest of the time, I was like, this is fine. And then when I rewatched it the second time, whole new appreciation. That seems to be a theme for me. But Hell or High Water.
That was a fantastic movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Way more than I anticipated it to be.
It's directed by David Mackenzie, starring Jeff Bridges, Chris Pine, Ben Foster, and Gil Birmingham. And it's about these 2 brothers who are like robbing banks, and boy is it good. It's just such a great film.
It's a whole boy good.
It's a whole boy good. But yeah, if you haven't seen Hell or High Water, do.
Please do. Or go to Hell or High Water, you know what I'm saying? So bad.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know what to pick for my second one, because a lot of this list either feels like it's one that I feel like I should say, or that don't deserve the top spot exactly.
Okay.
Like, I really liked La La Land for its music, but as the story, I didn't like it nearly as much.
La La Land, I loved the first time, and then I liked it less and less each subsequent time I watched it.
Especially how they ended it.
Yeah.
What I don't like about it the most. Like,
See, I thought that when I loved it, but now I'm convinced that it's the only compelling part of the entire film.
Yeah.
Like, I did a complete 180 on it.
I feel like they gave... I don't want to make this like a whole review. I feel like they gave the audience 2 scenarios, and they could pick whatever one they wanted out of it. Yeah. And that's I'd rather just have the whole thing,
Yeah. But I was in a place in my life where like the whole message of don't give up on your dreams was very relevant to me.
Yeah.
It still is very relevant, unfortunately. But I watched it, and when Emma Stone sang that song at her audition, it broke me down. But then when I watched it, I kind of watched it without that, emotional attachment to it. And I was just like, it's fine. It's okay, but it could be better. I feel like it was other than the ending, it was very safe.
Yeah, that's not the one I wanted to say, but it's definitely the one that really, like, the music sticks with me more, and a good portion of the movie sticks with me a lot.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to pick anything else between all that. Deadpool was the huge breakthrough for me.
Deadpool, I think a movie that, again, has grown on me the more I watch it. Moonlight, won Best Picture that year.
Although La La Land cut in front of it real quick and was like, oh wait, no.
Yeah. But it's a good movie. 2017. We're gonna try to do rapid fire as much as possible. A movie that I feel like broke both me and you. Mother.
Yes, dude.
I still haven't seen it since that day. I own it on Blu-ray, but I haven't seen it since we first watched it.
I think I have it too, and like I'm too afraid to watch it.
I want to rewatch it. You and I should rewatch it together at some point.
Yeah, I've watched it 3 times now. And every time I've watched, I still have the same reaction the first time I watched it.
I've only watched it once, and I'm afraid, Glenn.
Like I've watched it with my ex. She's like, you hype that way more than it.
Well, that's the thing. It's good, but it's never going to. You have to go in completely with zero expectations, because it is just gonna break your brain.
She's like, yeah, you hyped that up way more. I thought it was gonna be more crazy. I'm like, what the fuck did you expect?
I mean, she kind of hyped up to all the boys I've ever loved. So
that's true. That's true.
You done fucked up.
That's true.
But yeah, Mother is great.
Yeah,
so great.
That is a phenomenal movie that I don't wish to torture myself with, but god damn it, I will.
I need to at some point.
This is tough. This is actually tough for me. But I'm gonna say Blade Runner, the most visually stunning movie.
Roger Deakins.
Roger Deakins, he's beautiful bastard. Ryan Gosling does an amazing job.
Yeah.
Man, the movie's so good.
It is so good. Trying to go faster again.
Yeah,
I'm just going to list ones that I want to talk about but don't want to talk about at the same time. Lady Bird, Brigsby Bear, Loving Vincent, Breadwinner, Get Out, It Comes at Night. But I'm going to talk about A Ghost Story.
Oh, wow. You didn't name one there. But okay.
Thor Ragnarok.
Nope. But keep going. It's going to be one I'll name.
Well, it's fine. A Ghost Story.
Yeah. Baby Driver. Logan.
A Ghost Story. You and I were ready to walk out of it, but like, because the way it is, the beginning is so slow.
It's a slow burn,
but only for the first 30 minutes, and it's done so on purpose to make you feel like you're watching. You're in the mindset of the ghost that's watching the whole movie. Seeing everything happen in real time. So once you get past the infamous pie scene...
If you never want to eat pie again, watch this movie.
Once you get past the infamous pie scene, and even after, like if you rewatch it after, knowing that it gets better after the infamous pie scene's fantastic and doesn't feel that long. But it is a fantastic, great, grand, goodness gracious, good movie. And everyone should see it.
It is a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably move on. I think we named all the good ones. Baby Driver, Coco, Logan, Wind River.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
John Wick 2, whatever.
Moving on to 2018. Let me find that list. It is somewhere. There it is.
I think I know what yours is going to be here.
My first one is going to be Annihilation.
Boom, called it. I know you're so good.
Scary throat-stealing bear. That's all I got to say. Yeah, Natalie Portman's great. It's a great action movie that is filled with all women. Something that I feel like all women action movies try to be but fail miserably. Yeah. But yeah, it's good.
All right, my pick. Won't You Be My Neighbor? The first documentary to smack this list here.
Yes.
If you want to feel the feels, go over to Fred Rogers' Neighborhood. That's all I gotta say. For some
Yeah.
reason, it didn't even get nominated in the Oscars for Best Documentary.
Completely ridiculous. Completely and utterly
And
ridiculous.
I cried during that shit. I
Yeah.
don't cry during documentaries. Like,
One that we talked about on the podcast before, Blind Spotting.
yeah,
My favorite movie of 2018. Just a fantastic movie about like race relations with police officers and all
Yeah.
that, and also gentrification. And it's beautiful. A few others I wanted to mention is The Best of All Worlds, which is an Austrian movie that no one else I know has seen because I only saw it at a film festival and it has yet to be released in the States. And I'm very upset about that. American Animals, 8th Grade, The Favorite, Burning, just a little plug for the next episode. Black Klansman, Apostle, and Bad Times at the El Royale.
and then my asshole self's gonna say Avengers: Infinity War,
You basic bitch.
only because it's the only Marvel film that you don't have to see any other Marvel films to see, and it's just its own movie.
That's fair. I will agree with that. Infinity War is my favorite of the Avengers movies. It's not my favorite Marvel movie, but it's my favorite of the Avengers movies. So
You also named a bunch of the other ones I was going to name, so that was kind of my
there we go.
last strap. Let's move on to the
moving
last
on
year.
to 2019, this year, which I'm sure we'll see things that get brought up. You know, I still haven't seen 1917. Really, that's the only movie that I want to see that hasn't come out yet.
This was a bad year for me, mainly because I didn't get to see what I wanted to see, and
If you do get a chance, I'm going to curate a list of movies for you for 2019. Because 2019 is the best year of movies for me since, if not 2014, 2007. I haven't decided if it's better than 2014 yet.
I'd say 2014 was a strong contender.
This year's a strong contender, if you ask me.
Okay, because I only have 9 on my list. I don't even have a full 10.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that it's better than 2014 yet, but it is definitely better, or at least as good as 2007, which is really the year that kind of made me fall in love with movies all over again and change my ways. Change my ways. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. First one I want to talk about is Parasite. I know you've seen it.
Oh, where's that on your list for like?
Number 2 right now.
Okay, I think it might be number 1 for me.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, dude, fuck.
Yeah.
Jojo
No.
Rabbit.
Yeah. So Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho, who has Snowpiercer that we've talked about already. South Korean film again, kind of, the juxtaposition of classes in South Korea, poverty, rich, all that stuff. Great film. I don't want to give too much away, so that's all I'm gonna leave it at.
Yep. Obviously, Jojo Rabbit
Jojo Rabbit.
We've talked about it already. It's the
Yeah.
best, one of the best movies in the world. So dramatic, so beautiful, so made me cry.
So wonderful. And then I'm just going to kind of list off the other ones that I feel like you should see, or you've seen some of them, but ones that you should see to kind of show you how great this year really has been. We got Joker. Peanut Butter Falcon. Have you seen that?
I have not seen that one yet.
Okay, we got to watch that. Uncut Gems. Have you seen that?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Midsummer. Us. Waves. Booksmart, and Marriage Story.
Okay.
All
Marriage
great
Story
films.
is still on the list that I gotta watch.
Yeah. I'm going to curate a list for you.
Okay. Okay.
You got any others to talk about for 2019? Lighthouse, great film.
There's, I think, the only one that I haven't, John Wick 3 and then Honey Boy.
Yeah, John Wick 3 and Honey Boy are both really good.
My
So-
list isn't that big. This year wasn't great for me, so I gotta catch up. I'm on the
You
catch-up
had
mode.
things going on. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I had a lot of things.
And also, you didn't have your baby boy Michael to take you places.
I need my baby boy Michael.
So that went on a lot longer than I thought it would. Honestly, I was naive for thinking we could do this under 30
really hard
minutes.
to talk about best movies of a decade without going on
Yeah.
forever.
So if you're still with us, thank you for listening. You're the real MVP. As always, you can follow us on Facebook, Keystone Film Review, Instagram, Keystone_film_review. We're on Twitter, Keystone_film. On Letterboxd, I am Mike KFR.
And I am Glen KFR.
And that will do it for the decade. We don't have 2020 vision. I thought I'd throw that joke in there.
Oh my god.
So hopefully...
That's the first time that I was literally disgusted by one of your jokes.
It's a terrible joke.
Normally we're disgusted by mine, but...
I appreciate how terrible that joke is. But yeah, thanks again for listening, and you can catch our real episode tomorrow when we talk about burning.
All right.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.